Hey everyone, it's Grayson the Goosebumps Kid here. Welcome back to another Goosebumps book review. Today we'll be looking at a book from the Series 2000 series, and it's one that I was hearing a lot about, a lot that people adore, and a lot that people despise. I'll get into that reason just in a few minutes, but if I'm on that sided section, I'm probably right in the middle. And that book I'm going to be talking about today and reviewing is book number 23 in Series 2000, Slappy's Nightmare. This book was a little bit harder to find on eBay. I took a little while to find, but when I did, I kind of wanted to hold off for a little bit because a lot of people were seeing a lot of spoilers and stuff. I didn't want to get it spoiled too much, so I just kind of stayed away from the book for a while, but finally had time to read it. And of course I was on my horror movie channel for a while, but I finally got time to read this along with that Give Yourself Goosebumps book. So I might be a little bit slow on uploads just because I'm starting to run out of Goosebumps books. I've only got one Give Yourself left, one Series 2000 left, and I have a Slappy World book, but I want to hold off on that until my birthday this year. It's called Slappy Birthday to You, but I want to hold on to that because I want to review that on my birthday when I turn 17 this year. So I might be a little slow on reviews, but for now, Slappy's Nightmare book review today. So Slappy's Nightmare, what is it about? Slappy's Nightmare follows a guy named Jimmy O. James and his dummy Slappy. Of course, Slappy comes back for this book because that's literally the title. But Jimmy O. James is putting on a show, and he has Slappy there with him to help him perform. They don't really go into detail on how he got Slappy or what his motive was. He just has Slappy because he wants, a career, and Slappy is, of course, torturing him every single day, just being ruthless to kids and to him. He's putting on a show one day for the kids, and of course Slappy starts being rude and everything. Then Jimmy O. James asks a kid to come up there and say hi to Slappy. Slappy starts calling him fat, and then eventually when the kid starts messing around with Slappy, Slappy latches onto his hand and latches onto his ear and just wouldn't let go. And this kid was wailing around screaming with Slappy just biting onto his ear, just flailing around. Finally, they were able to get Slappy off, and the kid was just crawling away and just crying, screaming. You don't see that a lot in Goosebumps books where it's just like dark and very scary. Slappy's very honestly, Slappy's more darker in the books than he is in the show. I got to be honest. But of course, Jimmy's very pissed off about what Slappy did. Slappy's just going on saying, I'm going to do this to you forever. All those kids are stupid. Jimmy finally has enough. He gets a new crate in the mail. He gets a crate by one of the people that delivered it to him. And he opens the crate. Slappy wants to know what's in there. Then Jimmy pulls out a big surprise. It is Slappy's twin named Wally. And he wants to put Slappy to sleep forever and use Wally as his new dummy. Of course, Slappy is not happy with this, so he fights Jimmy with it and everything. Fights Jimmy with the paper, trying to put him to sleep. Jimmy is eventually able to overpower him because these two girls walk in named Georgia and Stella. And Jimmy puts a curse on Slappy at the end. Or not at the end of the book, but by the end of the struggle, he puts a curse on Slappy right when Georgia and Stella walk in and ask about Slappy because Georgia's wanting a new dummy. Jimmy agrees to give Slappy away since he's got that new dummy. However, he sends Georgia and Stella outside, and he tells Slappy that if he doesn't want to go to sleep forever, he must do 3 good deeds. Must do 3 good deeds within a certain amount of time limit. And if he does those 3 good deeds, the curse will be lifted. However, if he doesn't meet those 3 good deeds within the time limit, then he will be put to sleep forever. and never be able to wake up. And Slappy, of course, is horrified about doing good because he's all about evil. The evil wizard made him evil. He's terrified about doing 3 good deeds. So Jimmy takes Wally, uses him as his new dummy. Then he gives Slappy over to Georgia and Stella. We learn on the way that Georgia and Stella don't really get along with each other. They're 2 sisters. Georgia takes Slappy. Stella's a little jealous with Slappy. And Slappy goes home with them. Then the chaos ensues once Slappy goes to their house. Slappy's Nightmare was a book that I heard a lot of mixed feelings about. A lot of people were telling me that it gets really good up until like the last chapter of the book. Then I had other people tell me that it's good the whole way through. Then I had a few people that were mixed. To me, this felt like a really good Slappy book, but it felt like there was a rewrite. Right at like the last couple chapters, it felt like there was a rewrite. And I can tell you that because at the very last chapter, chapter 32, it just completely disregards the whole story. I'm not going to tell you what what happens in the story. I'm not going to tell you the ending. But to me, it felt like the last chapter of that story just completely erased everything that came before that. I'm trying not to spoil too much. It's just, it bugs the crap out of me. I apologize if this is spoiling. I'm trying not to spoil. I'm not trying to give away any of the dark moments, any of the details. I'm just telling you what this last chapter of the book did to my brain. Like, I was just completely dumbfounded on why they would do that. This was such a good book, and you ruined it with that last chapter. It just erases everything that the whole book had going for it. And it's basically like a Final Destination type of thing where it's it's weird. If you haven't seen Final Destination, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have seen Final Destination, it's sort of like that, and it's confusing. It just erases everything what the whole book had, and it really bugs the crap out of me. Stella and Georgia were pretty alright characters. Georgia was more interesting than Stella, I gotta be honest. Stella was kind of bland. Their mom was just very much just... I don't know what to say about their mom. The only characters I could really relate to is Georgia and Stella. The mom was just, there as a side character. Jimmy O. James, I'm not sure if this is entirely true, but I believe he was in Bride of the Living Dummy. Don't 100% me on that. At least I think he was in the show or in Bride of the Living Dummy. I'm having to wrap my head around that because that name sounds very familiar. I feel like I've heard that name somewhere. I believe it was in Bride of the Living Dummy. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but Jimmy O. James was a pretty alright side character for the beginning of the book. Slappy, I think he's at his funniest moments here. Very dark moments as well. He's at his funniest and dark moments. Especially what some of the bad stuff happens in the book. It's very much it's a lot darker than what I've seen before in any Slappy book, I gotta be honest. Especially like that one of the final like climax parts of the book where a fight ensues. That was very dark right towards the end of the fight. But overall, this book was very good until like that last chapter. That last chapter completely ruined what it had going for it. But other than that, I think the characters were all right. The only ones I could really relate to were like Georgia and Stella. And Slappy was a good character. Other than that, I think all the other characters are pretty much bland. But anyway, that has been my review on Slappy's Nightmare. It was a good book right until that last ending. That last ending just like bugs me to death. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about a 7.5 to about an 8. This would have been a 9 had it not been for that ending. If it not been that ending, I would have given this a 9 out of 10. But right now, I'm sitting around an 8 out of 10 for this book. I would have given this a 9, but that ending just dropped it down a few points. But anyway, What is everyone's thoughts on Slappy's Nightmare? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would love to hear everyone's thoughts on it. Thank you all for watching. Might be a little slow on the reviews. Just bear with me here. I'm just trying to stretch it out as much as I can so I don't run out of books too quick. So, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to check out my horror movie channel. And make sure to join our Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Make sure to join. And I will see you on the next review. God bless and have a good day. Bye, everyone. Happy President's Day as well.